Angry guy here, and men are not dating. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Men are not dating. This is a pretty serious issue that we have in Western society right now. This is a very serious issue that's affecting Western society. As you can see on the screen, why have young men fallen out of love with romantic relationships? So, this is actually a very recent article from 2023. Men aren't naturally stoic. They're just taught from a young age that emotions are for girls. And then people wonder why young men are so lonely. And, it's titled, Why Have Young Men Fallen Out of Love with Romantic Relationships? And it seems right off the bat, they're trying to argue that young men have fallen out of relationships with romantic relationships because they're not emotional enough. The reason why young men don't want to date anymore is because they're losing touch with their feminine side. This is crazy, guys. So let's jump into it. Maybe I'm wrong. Why are so many young men single? Physical intimacy, numerous studies show, is going out of fashion. Young people aren't shagging much anymore, a phenomenon that has been widely blamed on technology and online adult entertainment. And it's not just physical activity that's declining. Young men in the US appear to have fallen out of love with romantic relationships. A recent Pew Research study has found that 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single, compared with 34% of women in the same age bracket. This is pretty interesting. So it's pretty clear that men are choosing to not get into relationships right now. Cue a lot of dramatic headlines about, as The Hill put it, the larger breakdown in the social, romantic, and physical intimacy of the American male. I imagine The Hill is referring to the heterosexual American male here. But Pew has also looked at people who identify as LGB and found 62% of LGB men report being single, compared to 37% of LGB women. Before we delve deeper into the physical intimacy lives of the American male, I'd just like to point out that the Pew Research study was actually conducted last summer, but they republished the findings on Valentine's Day listicle. This caught the attention of some at the Hill, who wrote an article headline, "Most young people are single. Most young women are not." So most young men are single, most young women are not. A screenshot of the article then went viral because, well, those numbers don't really make much sense, do they? Unlike China and India, where men outnumber women by 70 million, there are about the same number of young men as women in the US. Who are all the young women dating? Well, guys, it's pretty easy to figure that out. A lot of you guys pointed that out previously. It's pretty obvious that the young women are all dating the same people. Nobody seems entirely sure what the reason for the giant relationship gap is, but the most popular theory is that young women are more likely to be dating older men. That's absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Because for so many men to be single right now, this is not just young men. This is not just young men. This is men between the ages of 25 and 54. Okay? So unless they're all dating a bunch of 60 and 70-year-olds, this is absolute nonsense. Let's keep going. All right. So the most popular theory is that young women are likely to be dating older men. Another rather overblown theory is that the that the LGB agenda is working, and considering 1/5 of Gen Z identifies as queer, all the young women are dating each other. Another issue potentially feeding into the dating discrepancy is the fact that there could be gender differences in how people define a committed relationship. The Pew definition of single is those who are not married, living with a partner, or in a committed relationship. While we may never solve the mystery behind the relationship gap, there's been a lot of hand wringing about these numbers, mainly from conservative circles who take it as evidence that feminism and the modern world, particularly adult content, has emasculated young men. Seth Dillon, for example, the founder of the conservative satire the site, the Babylon Bee, tweeted, young women are dating each other or older men in record numbers. As a result, 60% of young men are single and lonely. It's probably hard to overstate how serious this problem is. But here's the thing. A lot of men between the ages of 25 and 54 are not dating at all. That's a massive number of men. The reality is that most women are dating the same guys. So Chad and Tyrone, they have multiple wives. This is the truth. This is the absolute reality. Chad and Tyrone have multiple wives. The women are all dating the same guys. Okay, so you have one man that has like five different women at the same time. So let's say three, like five different women at the same time, and he's just rotating them out constantly. How can we even prove this further? There was an outbreak of, I think it was either syphilis or chlamydia. I think it was syphilis in Texas, and they found that it was mostly among women. So how is it that this is mostly among women and not men and in the same area in Texas? Oh, it's simple because they're all getting it from the exact same guys. So the exact same guys were the ones they were having these relationships with. And people don't seem to realize that in Western society right now, it has become so shameful that men are saying that, you know what, we don't want to have these relationships anymore. Is it really true? Let's see here. Is it really true that okay? So the Babylon Bee tweeted, "Young women are dating each other or older men in record numbers. As a result, 60% of young men, are single and lonely. This is probably hard to overstate how serious this problem is. Is that really true though? I'm not denying that there's a serious worrying situation of loneliness among young American men, but you don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. I think that rather than focusing on young men being single, the real problem is the fact that men don't have friends. Only 21% of men, for example, say they received emotional support from a friend within the past week, compared to 41% of women. Why is that? Well, The Hill quoted Richard Reeves, a senior fellow at Brookings Institution and the author of the Book of Boys and Men, who explained that men are less naturally relational than women. The bizarre quote pretty much sums the whole issue up, doesn't it? Aren't naturally stoic. They're just taught from a young age to feel and fe- they're just taught from a young age that feelings and emotions are for girls. They're taught to lock up their feelings. They're taught not to put as much value in relationships as women. They're taught that they're less naturally relational. And then people sit around wondering why young men aren't in relationships and are so lonely. It's not adult content that's the problem. It's patriarchy. Oh my God, guys, do you see this? So that's exactly where it's going. Men are not crying enough. Men are not enough like women. The problem is patriarchy. The problem is that patriarchy is holding men back. The problem is that patriarchy won't allow men to be more like women. Men need to get in touch with their feelings. They need to learn how to cry more. It's only when men learn how to cry more that they're going to be able to attract women properly, because women want emotional men. They want men that break down into tears, that have a good cry when things go wrong in their life, that sit on the couch and cry with them. They want men that will try different things. For example, the man doesn't always have to the man doesn't always have to take the dominant role in a relationship. He can be the submissive. It's okay for a man to be submissive. It's okay for a man to allow himself to be the one that's also taking it, from the guys. Like, this is really what they're getting at. For example, a man doesn't always have to be the one that is in a physically intimate relationship, using his member. It could be the woman or the other way around. Basically, they're saying that men need to become women. Men need to be more like women. Men need to wear skirts. Men need to wear pretty dresses. This is how you attract a woman. To attract a woman in modern society, in Western society, you need to be able to put on a dress. You need to wear a skirt. You need to be able to cry. You need to wear a you need to carry a purse. We need to learn how to be less of a man and less of an old age man and more of a modern age man, a man that is expressing healthy masculinity by being more like women. But of course, don't express any toxic, aggressive behavior. You need to learn how to act like a lady, how to be submissive, how to kneel before the woman, how to give the woman all of your value, how to cry, how to carry female feminine products in your purse. Like this is really where it is. You need to learn that it's okay to kiss your male friends on the cheek or on the mouth. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay, you need to put down the video games and start learning how to embrace feminine things. For example, go and get your nails done. Spend time, learn how, read feminist material, feminist books, and so forth. But stand up to the patriarchy, work again, because that's what the big problem is, guys. This is the reality of it. And if you notice, they are raging against the idea of removing adult content from the web. Is the world placenta adult content? The popular AI generator Midjourney seems to think so, has discovered that it bans a lot of words relating to the human reproductive system as prompts. Naughty words include, well, a variety of different words, while some terms relate to the male reproductive system. The band skew predominantly female. Guys, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. You know, they are basically furious. They're basically so I said this before that if we tried to ban online content, like under online adult content, most men would basically not worry about it. Most men wouldn't care. And someone even said, like, at first it would be kind of a shock, and then men would move on. The people who would be furious would be the Sims and the Incels, INCELs, which is just another form of simp, because these are the guys who are spending all their money on Only Fools and Lonely Fans and keeping these platforms going. And women would absolutely be furious because they would say that this is a means of controlling women and taking away a woman's freedoms and self-expression. And they would literally go and hold marches. You would see women marching up and down the streets if they outlawed adult content, because they know right off the bat it does not help men. It helps it it I shouldn't say it empowers women, because basically they're selling their futures for instant gratification in the present, but it's basically allows them to pull from the simp economy. But if you ban this type of stuff from the internet, for example, you control what they can post on Instagram, so you won't see any more bikini shots on Instagram all over the place. You won't see, and no more Only Fools and Lonely Fans, no more try on hauls on YouTube. You start getting rid of this stuff. Ban TikTok, ban Only Fools. Ban anything that could be considered soft core on these platforms and everything. And then suddenly the women would be furious, because they would be forced to carry themselves like ladies, and then and they could not use it to manipulate men anymore. Regulate Twitch platforms and regulate how they're allowed to dress on there, the kinds of things that they're able to show on there. No more hot tub streams. They would go absolutely furious. They would go absolutely furious. And this is it's the truth. Regulate the kind of content you can show in public. So for example, you go to Times Square and you don't have billboards of models in racy lingerie, or no more of these, street performers in New York. Many of you guys don't know this, but there are street performers in New York and they walk around without tops on. And this is perfectly legal in New York. And I think it's absolutely terrible. But this is just one of the things. So you start putting up, this decency quotas, and of course you apply them to men as well. Okay, bro, you can't walk around without a top and pump, like literally right across the board. Treat men and women equally. So I don't want to see some dude walking around without a shirt. Like for example, there's this saying, no shoes, no shirt, no service. And what's amazing is, like, the people who are more liberal, they're very quick to say that that saying is rooted in patriarchy, and it targets on it was designed to target people of underprivileged communities. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Like, what are you really talking about? Like, oh, this hurts black people and Hispanic people. So you're telling me that black people and Hispanic people and non-white people should be allowed to walk into a bar or restaurants or a store with no shoes or no shirt, and they should not be questioned. Let me make this very clear. This is not tolerable with white people. Okay? You have those signs. You literally have those signs very often in white in areas that are kind of rural and where there's a lot of white people. You have a lot of these dudes who live that life, and people are like, you know what, you're not going to have your way. You think you're going to have your way, you're not going to have your way. And they put up those signs to keep those types of people out. Okay, because people just, if you don't maintain some levels of decency, then it disappears. It really, really does. Guys, what do you think regarding this? Men are not dating. I want to know your thoughts regarding all of this. If you're enjoying the content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Let me know what you guys think regarding everything we discussed here, and we'll talk about it more in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.